Yay, we're live on Skills Not Pills Movement. I'm your host, Carrie Hummingbird, for all of your wellness topics. And this is our ongoing, continuing series of live interviews for Skills Not Pills Movement with experts from around the country and around the world who are being connected with me, who have wonderful messages to share about how do we create wellness? How do we move from a sickness system into a wellness system? And then how do we help other people understand what this is? Because, you know, we've all been sort of domesticated to think that the way to solve our problems is to go to a doctor and get a pill. And we're waking up now. Many of us have already woken up for a long time, but, you know, waking up to realize that, well, that's not exactly true. While that is helpful, you know, for immediate fixes for things, there's actually a whole range of experts you can consult with for holistic and wellness so that you never get in the place where you got to go to the doctor and get a pill. So that's what we're here about in Skills Not Pills Movement. And today I'm excited to welcome Cheryl Hanly, Dr. Cheryl Hanly of Creedmoor Wellness Center. Welcome. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here.
I know you are. We had such a great conversation. That's one of the reasons I invited you on, because you have such a unique story. So today we're going to talk about ways to step outside societal norms to create wellness in yourself, your family, and your community. Learn how to change deeply rooted generational beliefs and habits by understanding that everything is a vibration. The story of how healthcare professionals can change the paradigm and share holistic options to a pill-oriented society. So Dr. Cheryl Hanly is a smarty pants. She graduated Magna Cum Laude from Cleveland Chiropractic College in Kansas City in 2005 and hasn't looked back since. She founded the Creedmoor Wellness Center in the unlikely rural town of Creedmoor, North Carolina, over 10 years ago. And we're referring to this a little bit like Podunk, right? Because small communities that they may not have exposure to things that they have in big metropolitan areas. So she took this into a wonderful community in Creedmoor, North Carolina, and started shifting local mindsets. And she now has a thriving practice. And you can check that out, creedmoorwellness.com, if you're interested. And I know that many of you holistic practitioners are going to be super interested in hearing what Dr. Hanly has to say about how she did that. So tell us a little bit about your story first. Tell us, like, how did you get into chiropractic? What was your journey? Just a few minutes on that so we understand, you know, who you are and why you got started doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. My beginnings came through family experience. My dad was that person that was caught up in the medical model. I've been blessed with abundant health, and I'm so happy about that. But my dad was just one of those people that was told when I was 5 years old that he had 5 years to live. And so I lived my entire life out of that fear paradigm of, am I going to lose him? Am I going to lose this rock in my life? There's got to be another option, you know, drugs, surgery, on and on. And in my quest for something different, right towards the end of his life, I found chiropractic, and I found the power of chiropractic and how affecting our nervous system could affect our life, and that it was new, it was different to me, it was outside of that societal norm of just, hey, there's a pill for every ill.
There's a pill for every ill. Yes, that is so true. That's the way a lot of us think. And well, we think that way. Why? Because we've been kind of raised to think that way. We've been domesticated to think that way by advertising and all the television ads and all that kind of stuff. So you got into chiropractic and you found some personal wellness with that, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And but you also learned some other modalities too. Tell us a little bit about the other things you practice at your wellness center.
So chiropractic is my main modality. I also do acupuncture. I do an extensive amount with nutritional counseling. My latest avenue of exploration, I guess is the word, is through functional neurology.
Ooh, what is that? What is functional neurology?
Functional neurology is using the brain as the basis for everything, because it controls our entire body. And then using a holistic approach, the body doesn't just operate as one system. It's not just your heart. It's not just your lungs. It's not just your skin. It's not all that stuff. So functional neurology puts all of that together and allows us to evaluate the whole patient, not just a symptom that they're experiencing.
Because really the difference, I think a lot of Western medicine is set up for figuring out, how to fix a symptom, right? But not necessarily taking the time to explore all the avenues to figure out the root cause that's creating that symptom. So what you're saying is that you're actually looking for the root cause through the combination of these modalities.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, what's the number one thing? Just because I have sciatica, it's a common thing that we all talk about. Just because I have sciatica, is that because there's just something wrong with my spine? And so many of your past conferences have gone into the energetics of that, and what's the acupuncture component of that, and what's our thinking component of that, and what's our history component, and then is there something going on at the level of our brain that's creating a problem in our motor systems? And that's where the functional neurology steps in and uses that as a method of evaluation as well. So we can heal the entire human.
Heal the entire human. Yeah, heal it at the root cause. And I think what I learned on my journey, which a lot of people think is far out there, is that there's so many causes for pain in the body, because I had sciatica.
Yeah.
And my journey to solving sciatica was chiropractic, acupuncture, but not just any acupuncture. I worked with Will Morris, who's a featured expert on this summit, because he actually builds in astrology, medical astrology, with his acupuncture, because that as a factor, like what you're going through astrologically, like in this lifetime, has a huge impact. And then emotional trauma, like I was dealing with emotional issues. I was all on my right side, and I learned through my journey, I was like, oh, the right side is the masculine, and that's why my hips are hurting, and my leg, my whole right side, because I had all those daddy issues and things I didn't even know. It's
so fascinating.
It is
absolutely fascinating. And I guess that will be my next rat hole, is that whole connection between astrology and all this other stuff. But yeah, just this human body is so amazing. And I think that's been the biggest passion of mine, is explaining to people that it's all about believing that this body has the ability to heal.
Yeah, believing that it can heal itself if you give it the right conditions. Now, here's a staggering fact that scared me when I heard it at PaleoFX a few weeks ago. I don't know if you've heard of PaleoFX, but another one of our experts is Michelle Norris, who's the founder of that. And it's the largest ancestral health and wellness, because the idea with paleo is that you eat the way our ancestors ate, and these health problems go away. A lot of them, because a diet is such a big part, and exercise. And we're not running for miles anymore, and we're not outside anymore, and we're not eating like, oh, there's your kitty. We're not eating vegetables the way we should be eating vegetables anymore, where everything is processed. And so that causes a lot of dis-ease. But she had a great lot of speakers at this convention a couple weeks ago, and one of the speakers was Chris Kressler, and he has a book called Unconventional Medicine, which I think is so interesting. And one of the things that he said is only 6% of Americans practice the top 5 healthy behaviors. So
wow,
6% practice the top 5 healthy behaviors.
That's staggering. Shocking, staggering. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So why are we sick? We're not practicing wellness.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I see that come in on a daily basis. And I referred to this as the Podunk awakening, because Creedmoor is this little tiny community set in between the city of medicine. So we have Duke, and we have UNC, and we have all of these medical systems surrounding us. Little tiny farming community. And so their paradigm is, you listen to that white coat. You just absolutely, they have all the answers, and that's where you have to go. Instead of looking inside of yourself, it's all healthcare from the outside in rather than from the inside out.
Yeah, and people don't trust, they're trained not to trust themselves. This is part of that drama triangle, that victim, rescuer, perpetrator triangle, where the victim doesn't know any better and it's the child, right? The child is the victim. It's like this child mentality, like, oh, well, I have to ask an expert who's the adult,
Mm-hmm.
who's my rescuer,
Yes.
what to do for myself. Because I don't know any better because I'm a child slash victim.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, Carrie, because when I started in practice as a physician, you know, I was very much in that, almost in that child perspective, because chiropractic physicians were not given the power and the, I wasn't giving myself the power and the authority as a physician, and I was still putting them above myself. And when I came into my own as my power, and I said, no, that's not true. I learned everything they learned. Now I need to pass it on to teach these people how to embrace that for themselves.
I really appreciate that you said that, because I know we have a lot of holistic practitioners that watch these broadcasts, because I have a huge network of
Mm-hmm.
those kinds of people. And so this is also a message for you. Like, where do you think that there's some kind of hierarchy of knowingness? Like, where are you playing in the game of hierarchy? Like this person as an MD, and so therefore they know more than I do about my own health. Because that's really the myth we're busting as part of this Skills Not Pills movement, is that anybody knows your health better than you. Now, does a cardiologist know hearts better than you? Well, yeah. But overall, holistically, no, does not know better than you what's going on inside of you.
I so applaud what you're doing out here, Carrie, as that patient advocate saying, hey, I, the patient, do know my body. And that's one of the things I try to empower my patients with is, hello, this is your body. You live in here full time. I see you on a temporary basis. You live there full time. Listen to what your body is saying. The only way it can talk to you is through symptoms. And those symptoms don't always need a pill. Those symptoms just need you to listen to them.
Yes, listen. So do you teach? So, okay, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole now. So first, before we go there, because I want to ask what you tell clients, like how are you teaching clients? But I know the big story that's going to interest the lot of our holistic practitioners is, how did you create community buy-in for your wellness center in a community that clearly was indoctrinated in the pill mentality and like the doctors know best? How did you do that? Like, what was your experience like founding Creedmoor Wellness Center?
I think in many ways it was a lot of banging my head against the wall going, how do I get through to these people? And I think what I really had to do was get through to myself and realize that it was almost like an abusive relationship that these people were in with the medical society, and not saying that from the paradigm that the doctors were abusing them, but were robbing them of their power. And so I guess my philosophy has become empowering the patient with the ability to take control over their body, to understand that their body is talking to them. And I tell them, what I do is interpret symptoms for you. You don't necessarily know what all these mean, but if you'll share them with me, together we can understand the story your body is telling, and then from there find solutions to what's working or what's not working.
Okay, great. So you started building conversation. So you opened the idea in the people in the community that, hey, you actually know a lot about your body's experience.
Amen. Amen. Yes.
And so did you do like educational talks, or was this kind of one-on-one, like a slow sort of one-on-one conversation with people? How did that play out?
So I want to say that it's that there were a lot of things that played into that. So there was a lot of one-on-one conversations. I take a lot of time in the beginning when I'm first establishing a relationship with my patients, teaching them about their body and talking about the things that their body is saying to them. And then, of course, there's the word of mouth. And a patient success would lead to another patient success. And sometimes it seems like that was the entire building. The other thing that I do that I think that is really, really powerful is we have what's called an open adjusting time. So there's times during my day that I adjust people and everyone shows up at that time. And that time is a time for us all to be happy and to be joyful, to receive healing at that time, but creating a culture, an environment of healing. And a lot of times the patients come in and they say the happiest time during their day is when they're in our office, because their joy, there's the vibration of joy, which, as you know, is the vibration of healing, which is the vibration of happiness. And you can't separate one from the other. And I guess it's about teaching them that that's a possibility. Here is the vibration, experience the vibration for yourself. Now live vibration. I heard you say on some other summits, just choosing to be happy rather than choosing to be sad. It's such a powerful thing. And so a lot of it is just doing that mental work with them and allowing the happiness. I loved your interview with the neurologist, James Garrett.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yes, he was amazing, and just getting into, okay, this is what our brain is capable of, but how do I create that plasticity? How do I take it to the step where I'm living in that happy place rather than that fear, doubt, and disbelief place? And for me, the greatest amount of healing in our community, I do believe, is giving that power to the people and having them realize that they have it within themselves.
Yeah, and letting them find out this sort of magical journey. I'm sure your patients have gone through that magical step that I went to, and I realized, oh wow, like this has something to do with my father's, and my trauma there. Like, oh, it's my right hip. Like, no wonder that hurts. And then as I release emotion around it, it starts to feel better. And I start to go, wow, I can't believe that had to do with something that happened to me so long ago. And then I felt emotion about it. And now it feels better.
And yeah, it's funny you say that, Carrie, because sometimes in the healing, people come to me in small town, they go, chiropractor. Okay, I'll go to the chiropractor. I have sciatica. And it is that just slow evolutional journey about explaining to them, now, do you understand this pain is coming and it's going, it's coming and it's going. Start looking how this is related to how you're feeling, what you're thinking. And sometimes it's only through that repetition that they start going, oh, I get it. It is tied to this relationship. Or I'll ask them, sciatica, the pain keeps coming. Why doesn't it go away? Well, what's going on with your family? What's going on with your relationships in your life? How are they playing into this? And they start awakening to that. Because, we can tell people a lot of things, but until they really start feeling it and experiencing it within their own body, it's all for naught, it seems.
Yeah. And listening to their inner guidance is what you're really teaching them, how to have awareness. You're just not saying it, but you're teaching them awareness and inner guidance and inner intuition and listening.
Yes.
So I know that you live, you're in a small town, and there's in North Carolina, and there's probably some fear around listening to inner guidance, or some fear around that. How did you cope with that? How did you address that fear of like, oh, I don't know if I can listen to these, to these voices or to this or that? Like, how did you address some of that?
I'm chuckling because I would have patients come in and they would be, I'm a Christian, can I do this?
Can I have chiropractic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian, how does that work with applied kinesiology? How does that work with muscle testing? How does it work with all these things? And so I guess another big part of the awakening is meeting the patients where they are. If it's a mental block because of religion, is it a mental block because of the dogma of allopathic medicine? And so, being with them, that this is all about listening to the heart of who you are. your heart energy, listening to spirit, and spirit is about intuition. That's not heresy. That's the gift that God gave us. If you want to give, whoever your creator is, that's the gift that we were given. And yeah, it's been quite a journey trying to figure out how to share that gift with people.
Yeah, but you've done it. You've done a great job. And I know that what part of what we talked about on the phone was just setting that, for all the practitioners out there who might be in a difficult community that's having challenges embracing what you do, and how you explain it and how you talk about it is really, I think, what we talked about is creating that safe container, creating that safe, high vibration space where people know that they are safe and held. And so tell us a little bit about how you created that safe space at Creedmoor Wellness.
So we try to create an environment that's inviting. We have animals in the practice. We use crystals because of the vibration, and we have crystals set out throughout the office. Laughter is huge, and we don't encourage a sterile environment. So we encourage human interaction. We encourage being able to celebrate our triumphs. And so each patient that has a little triumph, it pours over, since it's an open environment, into everyone else. And they're like, oh, if that can happen for them, it can happen for me. And creating something of believability. And it's just a place where miracles happen. And we tell people, we set in their mind, please expect miracles because your body is miraculous.
Please expect miracles because your body is miraculous. That's a good one.
I just made it up.
Really true. I believe that. I know it because I've experienced it.
You have experienced it.
But I opened to miracles and then they happened. So they happened. Why? Because my mind was set to create miracles.
Yes. And so giving it's so much about permission. And it's like when they walk in the door, I'm the first time that these people have been given permission to be the authority of their body. I'm the first time they've been given permission to be happy in a doctor's office, to be who they are, to have fear, to question what I'm saying, not because it's about my ego, but it's about their misunderstanding.
So they have the ability, so you encourage questions. I think that's another good part to bring up. So people that maybe are accustomed to, just sort of being told, like a student to a teacher, here's what you do, and maybe don't raise their hand and say, I don't understand that. So how do we get people to raise their hand and say, I don't understand that part. I want to understand that better. I'm going to buy into that. Because I know this is one of the conversations that I've had with Dr. Neha Sangwan, who has a book called Talk RX. And she's talking about, patients really realizing that they are empowered in their health to ask more questions of the doctor if they don't understand or they don't agree, or to ask for other options. And for doctors to realize, if patients aren't saying, yes, I'm going to do this by this time, that you don't actually have an agreement with that patient. Because they're just like kind of overwhelmed and they're going to leave and they might not do the thing that you're telling them that they need to do. So there's no traction being made. So tell us a little bit from your perspective that, doctor patient client relationship, how could that be better?
God, that's a good question. It's a really, really good question, because it's something that I know it challenges us all. And I have to keep coming back to the biggest thing that we do is we keep encouraging patients to come into the space, because when they're in the space, then them being in that vibration of healing, that space of healing, then it gives them the permission to ask those questions. Because I feel like these people, they're so used to the insurance paradigm of, I'm talking to my doctor while they're typing on their computer. I'm not getting any face-to-face time. And I'm saying, no, you need to question this. And so it all just comes back to, for me, giving them permission. And I am just amazed at how, going back to what you said earlier about just being that child. So I'm grabbing a hold of them as the parent physician, saying, you have permission to ask questions. This is how your body is showing up. These are the possible connections and the reasons why it's doing what it's doing. This is how you've been treated. This is the possibility of treatment. What do you choose? And when I can give them enough understanding, they all choose what's in their highest good, which is to let their body heal, rather than what's not necessarily in their highest good, which is the pill, potion, lotion for whatever is ailing them.
I think the danger we have as practitioners and wellness providers and people on this forefront of the Skills Not Pills movement is that we are really inviting people to a whole new paradigm, which is very different than the existing paradigm. And it can create that that feeling of like juxtaposition. Like it can kind of invoke the right and wrong game, which I don't like that game because I don't think it serves anybody. Like this is the right way to do it. It's the only right way to do it thing. That tends to get people's backs up and it gets the ego entrenched, and it just really like creates resistance to opening. So how can we as practitioners and people that want to share this maybe with our loved ones, we're tuning in, and the people that are tuning in want this, right? And they probably have people in their family like, I'd love my family member to come and do this. I would love my family member to know about this. How do I do that? How do I encourage that in a way that doesn't create opposition?
I guess I try to encourage that carry through empathy. And I always try to put myself in the position as a physician of my patient. What are they going through? What is their life bombarding them with? Why are they stuck into the paradigm that they are currently stuck in? And what would be the catalyst for the next movement up? And then, and hoping that they just are ready for that empathy. And I guess Spirit always brings us our perfect teachers and our perfect patients, and those people that are ready, they step into our environment and they go, I'm ready for what's next, and this is good for me. And we joke that we have a self-cleansing system, because if somebody's not ready for that possibility, they don't last long around the practice.
Yes.
So it involves a little bit of willingness and possibility on the side of the patient. And if they have that willingness and possibility, we'll teach them the way. Well, the path is out there. Let me help you guide your hand during or down one path. Is it the only path? It's not the only path. And I make sure they understand that. But this is a path that's been very successful. And it's working better than what you're doing right now. So how about trying it?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll share a little personal story I haven't shared in a while. My dad just passed away in October. So, but a couple years ago, and he did not die from leukemia, but a couple years ago, he was diagnosed with this leukemia, like maybe 3 years ago. And when that happened, I was in the middle of energy medicine training. And so I knew that the reason that a component of why he had it was because my grandmother, his mother, had just died of the same thing. And I knew, I was like, that's ancestral. Like my grandmother's probably in his field energetically, and I need to help him clear her out of there. Like he needs to release the attachment. Otherwise he's going to have this issue. And my dad thinks that's crazy. He just thinks, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever that stuff is, as long as it works for you, that's great, but don't involve me, Yeah. So I said, can I have permission to just, for my own sanity and my own feeling like I did something, can I have permission to just clear your energy of that at school? And he said, fine. He said, that's fine, but I don't, I really don't want to know about it. So what happened is I went to energy medicine school, and I cleared it with a friend of mine. I didn't clear it. My friend did it for me. And it never activated. It was there and the doctors were so perplexed, like, how come this is in stasis and it's never done anything? It just stuck there and it didn't move. That's not normal. And I just kept saying, don't ask for a deadline. Don't ask for a deadline. Don't think about it. Put it out. It's erase the chalkboard. It's gone, you know? And so he didn't end up actually dying from that. He died of something else. But what I wanted to share this story for is one, for that, because it is the power of energy medicine. And the second thing is that, during that time, we had some conflict in our relationship because I felt very passionately that the way to heal was through this energy medicine. And my dad, from a different generation, felt very passionately that he trusted the Western medical paradigm and he was going to go to Houston to the cancer center.
Wow.
And I was really upset that he was going to choose to put toxins in his body to kill everything, not just the cancer. And I was really upset about that. So I felt like they were judging me for being crazy. And I was all upset and I didn't want to go over there. And my teacher had me do this spiritual exercise in the mall of all places, where I had asked the question, you know, why is this happening? And I went and I found this spot to sit in the mall with my question. And all of a sudden I noticed I was judging everybody walking by, like, oh, that person's like probably needs energy medicine because they look like they're really materialistic. Or that person looks really sad and depressed today. I bet energy medicine would help that person. And I was sitting there like judging everybody. And I had this moment of like that deep sinking feeling like, oh, I'm judging my parents for their choice. And that's why we have the problem. So I went home right after that and saw my parents and I just listened. I didn't say anything. I just listened. And my dad finally looked at me and he said, you know what I realized just now? I said, what? He said, you're listening. He said, you know, I'm glad you are because this is my life and I need you to be a follower.
Wow. How profound.
So I just want to share with people that because I know we're so passionate about all these modalities that we've found personal healing with and that they've really changed our lives.
Yeah.
But until the student is ready, the teacher does not appear. And if you want to love your family beyond belief, then you got to love them where they are. And if that means that they've got to witness you get healthy while they stay sick, they got to witness you be pill-free while they're still taking gazillions of pills, then you still love them.
How profound. Carrie, thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so true. And as a physician, it's easy for me to step in and judge my patients. You are so right. It's so easy to do this. You should do that. You should do this. You should do that. And they need to do what makes their heart sing. And you know, and through that we find healing, right?
That's right. That's right. And you know, I'll tell a little summary on that story is before my dad died, about 6 months before he died, he'd started doing acupuncture. And it wasn't because I was telling him you should do that or anything. He started doing it. Did a couple of like Reiki energy sessions with someone.
Wow.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, we don't know how we're gonna, that's something I've definitely learned. We never know exactly how we're gonna show up in someone's life and what difference. And I just try to stay strong in that this body is amazing. And I never try to put it on me. It's always, this body is an amazing conduit of healing. We just have to tap into what resonates for us in that paradigm of healing. Yeah, wow.
Well, I know that you've done a great job opening people's minds because your practice is thriving. In 10 years and you've I don't know how many patients you have now, but you've got a very thriving practice. It's solid. And you're looking to the next level. Like, how do I get out there and be of service? So,
yes. So one of the things that I am realizing about my own healing gifts is the ability to resonate well with other people's energies when they're on that healing quest. And I'm trying to be more available in that capacity. So let me digress. I'm sorry, my brain just goes so many places. We have to be able to, or I have to be able to listen to them. And then when they want the healing, be able to go in and say, try this, try this, try that. And so I've written an ebook about little wellness hacks, and that's what it's called, Wellness Hacks. Simple changes make a big difference. And so that's available at our website. And I'm also making available my conversation, and you can contact me online, and we can sit down and we can talk about your nutrition. We can talk about what you're doing and just get simple little tricks, because some people don't like going into that doctor's office for the paradigm of the doctor's office. Well, we can talk one-on-one, and same as the coaching that you give. Okay, try this from a medicinal standpoint. Let medicine, or let food be thy medicine. Let's go back to what Hippocrates said.
Yes.
Let food be thy medicine. And so I am online. You can schedule with me to talk about nutritional counseling, and we can talk about functional neurology, and we can talk about all those things. And it's just about spreading the word. I just want to be that herald of wellness is available to everyone. You don't have to be gifted. You don't have to come up in this neighborhood. We all have that if we claim it.
I love that. And I'm wondering, do you also welcome, like, say there's a chiropractor who's in a similar situation, like in a community where, like, gosh, they don't understand what I'm saying. Do you welcome and invite a conversation with that person? And
I absolutely do. I mean, the thing I get scared of is talking with other physicians, and it's almost intimidating because of the mindset of a lot of allopathic medicine. But I love talking with like-minded individuals that I don't have all the answers. There's so many answers I don't have, but I like being in conversation with people like you and other healers that are out there that say, you know, this may be working for me. This is what's working for me. Some other things aren't working for me. And when we can sit down and we can talk about that, we can always find ways that we can make a bigger difference. So absolutely, I love talking to other physicians that want to make a difference.
awesome. And I know that you do live events, don't you, at your wellness center too, like educational events?
Yes, ma'am. We have different talks, and we're currently doing a 21-day purification program, which is all about going in and cleaning out the gut and learning how to eat, how to feed this body Mother Nature's medicine. And so that's going on, and we have different classes. We talk about things like stealth pathogens, which are little tiny bugs that get into our system, and they just live there. And then they pop up at inopportune times and give us problems. So we talk about all the possibilities that exist in this body. And so I'm available for in-house talks. I'm available to go out and speak to people out in the public, available on the phone, any way that I can talk to people. And sometimes I'm not very technologically savvy at all.
I know this is like your first live interview, so I just want you guys to recognize Dr. Cheryl.
Everyone can do this. Oh, yes, you have to look at the dot. Not anyway. Yeah, I've done telephone interviews and things like that, but the video is new, and we all get to step outside of our comfort zones in order to make a bigger difference. And that's where I needed to go. I need to get out to the masses and sound my trumpet that everyone deserves wellness. And when our society is healthy and we're living in that vibrant place, we're happy, and happy people don't shoot one another. Happy people don't disagree with their neighbors. Happy people are fun to be around. And life is a beautiful gift. Not to be wrapped up in this symptom or that symptom, or I can't do this because this hurts, and I can't do this because my doctor told me I couldn't do that. No, life is supposed to be lived to the fullest. In every
great curiosity.
Yes, with vibrant curiosity. Yeah, we just need to go out and experience love, life, joy. And anything that I can do to promote that idea.
Awesome. Well, so you can access Dr. Cheryl's hack ebook, Wellness Hacks, at her website. And is that I just want to be sure that I'm saying it correctly because it is in the link here, but creedmoorwellness.com,
Yeah.
CREEDMOOR wellness.com. And is it right available on the front page?
No, ma'am. You have to go into the, oh, see, here comes my technological savvy. No, it's not available on the front page, but it's under the educational forums. And there's also a link to our YouTube channel, and there's some videos on there. So the wellness book is under the, what do you call it, tools?
Tools. Okay, I'll find it and I'll put the link up here in the broadcast on the
Thank you.
Facebook. No problem.
I'm sorry.
I'm technological. I have 25 years in high tech, so I'm
Thank you.
technologically savvy. So I will post that for you, and you guys can also go to her website and schedule a time if you want to have a chat with her. If what she said has really opened you up, like, oh, I want to know more about my wellness, then feel free to do that. You don't have to live in North Carolina to communicate with Dr. Cheryl, right? So
Not at all. Not at all.
yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. I really appreciate you being on the show, and I hope that you stay with our movement and we'll keep working together, see what unfolds.
Thank you for your heart, your passion, and everything you do, Carrie. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a
I'll talk
beautiful
to you
day.
guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.